morning, everyone. And today's course, I will end up earlier, maybe just end up at 11:45, because my afternoon course and we arrange a enterprise visit. We will go to the Taipei big city centers, and we needed to gather at 1 o'clock. So I needed to end up earlier because in here we still have some students also choose the same course. So maybe I needed to left some times and to make sure they can eat lunch. Okay. And here is our final project. And here is the descriptions about our final project. Actually, I want to make sure all the people you can know what is JavaScript and what is backend practice. And you know each group, and we can have 3 or 4 team members for a project. So maybe some people you can focus on JavaScript. Maybe you are more interested in JavaScript, so you just focus on JavaScript. That is okay. And maybe some people you really good at backend, so you can pay your full attention to backend. I think that is also great. So you don't need to good at both these two skills. You just choose one of. That is okay. But each project you needed to make sure there has JavaScript and backend in this project. Okay. So the project needed to create some effect with CSS and JavaScript to try to adopt regular expression to validate a pattern. Because in previous course I already told you how to create a regular expression, but not only use the expression I told you, maybe you can find out the other expression to do the other things. You needed to show up your creativity. If you can show out your creativity, and I think you can get more score. And also, the project needed to design a database schemas. I think in next course I will teach you about database, and in this course we will start to use PHP. Okay, and in next course you will understand how to build a CRUD, like create or update or delete some things, applications on the website. Okay, so and regarding the copy area, I think in each teams, your website, you needed to show up the copyright areas to present your group member and the student ID and the name to make sure the other people can understand, oh, what's the author of this website. Okay? So evaluation time is in December 21. Okay, you have 3 weeks to finish it. Okay? So for example, today I will teach you about PHP, and the previous course I teach you about JavaScript. So you will try to add something I already teach you to add on your website, and I think that will help you to finish the website on time. And the project presentations will be 10-minute presentation by each group, but you will discuss the following. Okay. So each group you have 10 minutes to present the project, and you needed to overview of what your project is. You needed to tell the other people, you just pick somebody's front end, and you wanna further this website, and what you do in this site. And also maybe you will face some difficulties, and you can tell the other people what's the technical problems, and what you still have to get working. Maybe there still have something is not enough, and you can tell us. And what you found cool or exciting about your project. Maybe in this project, at the beginning, maybe you have your imaginations, but after you create the website, you found there still have something is exciting or not different from your imagination, and you can tell the other people. Okay, but actually you needed to tell the other people what's the function of your website, because that is about JavaScript and backend, so you needed to show up your functions during the presentation. Okay, and despite the presentation, you also needed to deliver a written report. Each group you just deliver a written report is okay. Okay, Okay, and you need to show up your project title and the project members and what what's the work do by each members. Okay, you need to tell, maybe you can tell me, oh, your classmates, they do something about backend. Maybe they finish all the database designs or some things. You need to tell me this, and I will give you a fair score. Okay, and you can also give us a project description and what's the database relationship. Maybe you need to draw up the diagrams, and I will teach you this in next course, because I think this course will be really basic because I think that is the first course of your PHP language. So you needed to have make your PHP language is solid. Okay, and database is just like this. In next week I will teach you about this. Maybe we will create some table to make the connections, and you will understand how to create it. So no worry about that in today. And you just needed to deliver the written report in December 28th. Okay, because our presentation is 21 and the written report is 28. Okay, and the project gradings is about final project, and that will be worth about 50% of the overall project grade. Okay, so in this 50%, one is for your CSS and JavaScript to create something like drop-down menu or some animation or the other things. Everything you do by, you use CSS and JavaScript to create it. So maybe you want to get these 10 points, and during your presentation you can tell the people, oh, in here I use CSS and JavaScript. You can see these animations, and I create something in here. Okay, and I think you can get these 10 points. And also you can show me your regular expression. Here is also 10 points. And the later is CRUD. I think that is a major part of this project. You needed to show me what's the create, read, update, and delete record. All these actions I will teach you in next course, because all these things is related to database. Okay, but if you want to do this well, and I think you needed to pay more attention in today's course, because today is really foundations of the PHP. And later is you needed to tell me about your database structures. Actually, that is just like in a database, and we will have so many tables. Maybe some table is record your score. Maybe some table is record your information. Maybe some code is some table is record the cross information. And we want to make sure all the table has the connection. So you needed to show me your database relationship. So maybe just through the diagram to show me that. Okay. And for your regarding written report, that is 20% points. Okay, so that is also so critical, and you needed to told me the following things. Okay, and here is, I think here is also like the peer assessment, but in your group, and each team members will give you a score, and I will get the scores. But if in this group, everyone just give each other 100 scores, and I will not believe your score. Okay, I will cancel this score, because that is unfair. Okay, so you needed to really depend on their efforts, how many effort they put on these projects. Okay, and the last one is project presentation. I will based on your presentation to give you a 10% score. Okay, and you can get our final score is here, 50 and 20, 20, 10. So that is 100. Okay, so that is all the things you needed to do. Any question? in our breakfast time to see all these projects. Okay, but no worry, and we just keep going. Okay. So if you already find out your team member, and please tell my teaching assistant Shang Yi, and Shang Yi already raised his hand. So if you have any question, and if you can find out your members, and maybe just tell him, he will help you. Okay. So just keep going. Okay. So let's start the course, and today's course is about introduction to PHP. And I think PHP is a really great thing to help us to create so many web service for our users. Okay, and in today's course, I will divide it into 3 parts. The first one is environment setup. I will guiding you how to install PHP parsers on your computers. And because if today, maybe in environment and you needed to set up your client server, and you needed to use PHP language, and you needed to install a lot of things. But today you just use a framework and you can install all the things. So the first one, I will teach you how to set up your environment. And the second one is I will give an introduction to PHP. And actually, in PHP, we have so many basic things like syntax, data type, variables, and conditional statement, and loops. I think all these things, and you need to spend time to understand it. And actually, after today's course, I think you needed to practice about all these things, all these basic things, because we only have 1 week for PHP Basics. And the next week, we will enter into the MySQL. So you needed to make sure you already understand here, and you can do more things in next course. And the third one is form handling. Because I told you we can transfer the data through 2 approach, and one is get, the other is post. And actually in form handling, I will tell you how to use the post to transfer our data. We will get the input from the user and submit to web server for processing. Okay, that is about form handling. So that's 3 parts is today's course. Okay, so in today's course, and we needed to pay your full attention on this course. Okay, and the first one is environment setup. Actually, PHP is a really general purpose scripting language that can use to develop dynamic and interactive websites. Actually, that is just a tool, and traditionally we know how to use CSS and JavaScript and HTML. That is just static website. But if today we want to create a dynamic website, we need to make sure the language can communicate with our backend, communicate with our database. So PHP is that one. So that is the reason why we needed to learn something about PHP. PHP can make our website so dynamic. Okay, so we can embed our PHP into HTML. So you know in HTML there has so many tags, and a tag is body, and we just put our PHP in that body, and we can show up to our user. Okay, and actually that is easier to add functionality to web page without needing to call external files for data. That is really easy to use. And actually, if today you are a user, just like this boy, and you will use so many browsers like Chrome and or Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, and actually today you just use this browser, you can only read the website about the front end. But if today you want to understand the back end, you need it through your server. Okay, the server is, today I open a site, and that is a PHP engine. It's just like that. You use HTML, and in their body we have the PHP language like that. but that's needed to transfer to the HTML style. So that's needed to based on our server to transfer the PHP language to HTML to make sure the normal browser they can understand what we type and what our coding. Okay, so that we needed to put something or install something in our server. And the user just threw a link to connect to our server, and our server will tell the browsers what happened now. So here one is client and the other one is server. And actually, the server is just the other the other machines is not just behind us. Maybe that is in the other place. Maybe that is in the other countries. But today you are a developer, so we needed to set up a server, client servers in our computer, in your local computer, in your own computer. Okay, so this is today I will set up an environment in your local computer. Okay, and actually, if today we want to handle in a web request and we needed to make sure the server they know they already installed the web server, they already installed the web development language, they already installed database, and all these things. If you needed to download in your local computer, you needed to spend a lot of time. So maybe you just choose things to download it, and that can help you download all the things like Apache, PHP, MySQL all in one in MEMP. So later you just search MEMP and you can download all the things. Like here, MEMP. Okay. So now please go to your Google. Here is MEMP and search it. And just click it. And the first one is version 5, and you download it. That is 700 megabytes, so that spends a lot of time. And if you already finish, and just click it. Okay, and we just keep going. And actually, we don't need to install a pro version, and we don't need to install Apple this one. And we needed to accept the agreement. And in here is okay. MEMP, that is okay. And create a desktop is great. Okay, we just install it. Okay, that's needed to spend a certain time. Okay, so if today you already download the MEMP, that already help you install all the things. Okay, maybe in traditional ways you needed to search what is Apache, and you needed to download first, and later you needed to search the PHP. You needed to download so many things. Okay, so I will highly recommend you use MEMP. And the other thing is AppServe. This is the other framework the other people like to use. But yesterday I tried to use AppServe. That is not working now. So I have no ideas what happened now. Okay, so maybe you can try to MEMP first. And if you are interested in this part, and maybe you can download the other framework to try it. Okay, so now it's your turn. Just try to use it. 3 hours is not normal. I think it's internet problem. Yes. If you are Mac, and you can also download map. This is also work in Mac. Or just try now. Whoa, a little bit weird. Oh, this one. Already download. Yes. Because this is really big. Yes. Okay, I will switch the monitor. So I think if you needed to download with wireless, and that will spend a lot of time. So if you have USB, and maybe you can use USB to the others computers to copy it, and I think that will help you quicker. Okay, and the other reason is now all the people download it, so this is need to spend a certain time. Okay, and here is Moodle, and I already put today's slides on the Moodle. So if you need it, you just go to there, and I also upload the final project description. So if you need it, you just go to there to download it. Okay, and now my map is downloaded already, so I just click the finish. Okay, and I click the map. Okay, so that is map interface. What is? Okay. And we needed to accept this. Okay, accept. And now we can see there has a green light. If we see the green light, and that is means our Apache server is running now, and the MySQL server is running now. And the cloud, we don't need to take it. We don't need to notice that, because that's it we needed to pay if you needed to use. Okay, that is the other service created by MEMP. But actually, if today you just a local developer, you just make sure your Apache and MySQL server is running. Okay. And if you are, maybe you already learned the other language in previous course. So I think in main preference, you can go to the port, because traditionally we use the 80 port for our web service. But if you already download the other things, maybe you already use Python or you already download the other things, you needed to change the port. The port is we needed to use the correct port to access this web service. Okay, but traditionally we just keep 80 is okay. So if all the thing is ready, we just open the web start page. So that is our map. Okay, that's already set up a server for us. So you can go to the PHP MyAdmin. And you can use it. That's your database. That's your database. And you can also go to MEMP website. Okay, MEMP, not this one. Okay, maybe you needed to go to here. MEMP. And go to htdocs here, and to create your first website in here. So I can put here, I can drag these folders into my Sublime Text, okay? And I can create a website like, I just save a file in here. Okay, maybe I can save the index. Oh, that's already. Maybe I can use the other is test. Okay. So I can put my first PHP. Echo. My PHP is working. Okay, so I just go to the here, and I can do here. If I only use localhost, they just open index this this file. Okay, because if I don't give anything, and the system will help you direct to index files. Even today is index PHP, even today is index HTML, and all the system can help us direct to transfer to that file. But today I already created a test PHP, so I needed to use a slash in here and use test PHP. So I can see my PHP is working. Okay, so now it shows us the PHP is work. But if today you use our system to read it, we can't know anything, because that we don't set up servers in our system. So we just through our local host to help us to understand what we type, what is our coding. Okay, because we already download the PHP in our environment, so that can help us to understand the PHP language. Okay, so this is the reason why this is working. So now please download it and to open your web start page. if you face any problems, and maybe you can download my slide, and my slide will have all the print screen of the download process. So if you have any question, you just look up the slide and you can understand how to deal it. Okay, I will switch the monitor. Oh, okay, I will give you the letters. I needed to introduce why I told you we needed to set up preference. Okay, because now maybe somebody you use your own computer, but before today's course you already use the other web service. Like maybe you use Python to create your website. Maybe you use PHP Laravel to create your website. So at these times you already use your port 80. You already use port 80. And so now if you want to create the other web service, you needed to use the other number for this port. Okay, so if you use the same port, and you will get trouble. And if you use the different port, and that will run it smoothly. So that is the reason why I told you we needed to change it. So, but if you are today the first time to learn how to create a web service, and I think now you use port 80, that is okay. Okay? For example, yesterday I used I tried to download the MEMP, but I used port 80, but I got the problems because I already downloaded the PHP Laravel. and PHP Laravel they already use my port 80. Okay, so maybe you needed to use the different numbers for this. Okay, so now maybe you just keep going.你的 logo 或者是 work 的。你的 name 是这个吗？那不是这个。你的 map 呢？就是你的 map 对吧？哦，这个。对。是不是没有开过？可能是 server 没开。那要 start，它就可以了。 May I switch the monitor now? If you haven't finished your first PHP coding, please raise your hand. Okay, I give you 2 minutes.然后有点荡荡的，看一下。你的防毒软体，你的 Webex 我先把你关掉。对，就是你好像你的电，你可能在安装的时候，很多东西你都把它设定为一台机全部都要启动，所以你的这台电脑很潮，就是一开始的时候就很多事情都一直在 run。你可以看到这个记忆体的使用，这里你看。难怪我每次一开机就要关东关西，因为一堆人看。对，所以你要设定那个 Webex 不要自动开启，然后或者是你去那个 Webex 里面，它可以设定，对你到时候再查一下。然后你应该关掉 Webex 可以解决一些问题，因为 Webex 有点吃服务，你的 TeamViewer 也可以，不要让它，但是它还是在 run。然后你的 Teams 也是，你看它耗费50枚。可是我等下把它全部解除。解除安装你就下次还要再重新安装，很浪费时间。就你不要让它下次一次开启就好了。对，所以我觉得这是一点问题。然后这个的话，为什么关不了？我猜你等一下先帮我把你的 Webex 这些东西关掉，因为它现在跳得好快。然后看防毒要不要先关掉，因为反正你现在没有做其他事情，应该还好。然后，或者是你直接重开机，然后你的 preference 我觉得要改一下，你可以用8080，不要用80。我们刚刚不是在 preference 这里有设定吗？这里，然后有个 port，对，这个改成8080，因为我觉得你可能有上过类似的课，然后他可能有占用80后，所以导致于他没有办法很好的使用这样。比方说我们今天用 Python，那它可能也有牵扯到网页，然后可能有设到480，那就被 Python 占进去。那你现在如果用480，它就会相同。对，所以我们要用另外一个 port。对，那这样应该就可以。我们先重开好了。Okay, I will switch it. And now I will introduce about the PHP. Okay, so at the beginnings, you needed to save all the PHP files in this folder. And for example, if today you want to create your final project, you can create the other folder. Okay, and you just save all the file in this folder. Okay, and we know this final folder is already saved in htdocs, this folder. So this can make sure all the things can be run. Okay, all our PHP language can be run. Okay, so that is the reason why we needed to save all the things in memp htdocs in here. And now we can use Sublime Text or the other editors to type our code. Okay, so your first code is we just use this way to use our PHP language. Okay, and here is just an angle bracket, and the other is dollar signs, and that is means, oh, now we want to start to use PHP language, so the other people can understand this. For example, can I use this? Maybe body, and the background is red. So background is red. So can I use PHP in here? Echo. Maybe I can echo blue. This can be blue. Okay. It means traditionally, maybe you already learned Python or C. You know, we just use print, and that can help us to show up our text or our string. So now we can also use echo in our PHP. So echo is equal to the print in Python. So that is the same thing. Okay, even today you want to use PHP in your CSS, that is also working. So that is the reason the description told you we can combine PHP and HTML together. So we just use the angle bracket and the dollar signs, and we can use PHP. Okay, and now you can know these things. We can use all the HTML styles in our PHP, like BR. We just use the double quotations with BR, and that can translate it in HTML style. So we just use this way to combine HTML and PHP together. And if today you want to coding and you want to collaborate with your team members, and maybe you needed to write down some comments, that is also an important part in your engineer's life, because traditionally all the engineers, they really had to write down the comments, but that is really critical for a big project. So if you want to collaborate with the other peoples, and maybe you needed to write down your comments. And even today you not collaborate with the other peoples, you just write it by yourself. You try to see your code maybe 3 months later, you will forget all the things. So maybe you need to try to write down all the comments. So if your code, you have the habit about comments, you can also show me in your written report. Okay, and you can use 2/ to write down your single line comment, and you can use a hashtag to write down a single line comment. All these things can help us to write down the single line comment. But if today that is multiple lines, and you needed to use a / with the star, okay, and you can put all the thing in here. That will not show up in our HTML. For example, I can use this way. I can type anything in here, but all that things will not show up in my site. Okay, we can't see anything. Okay, we just remove the ugly blue. Okay, so now that is easier to look. Okay, so now you already know what is comment, and maybe later you can try it. And the other thing I want to tell you is the user-defined function. Actually, we can define all the things. We can define a variable. Okay, if you want to define the variables, you just use the dollar signs to define it. So if today there is a dollar sign, and we can use English with your numbers and to recode the data. Okay, and you know, if today I use Python or C#, we need to define it. This is an integer. This is a floating point number. This is a boolean. You need to define this at the beginning. But today, if you use PHP, you don't care that anymore. You just use a dollar sign to define it. Okay, even today that is an integer, even today that is floating point, that is all okay. Okay, so just take it easy with your PHP to define any variable. Okay, so I can use the dollar signs to define the number 1, and number 2 is a floating point numbers, and I can also define a string. I can also define a boolean, okay, and I just use a echo, and I use a point to connect the variables and our string. Okay, I need to use a point to connect these two things. That is so important. For example, I can show you, maybe it's just like that. Num1 is 50, and num2 is 100, and I can echo num1, and I can use dollars. So I can see this one, dollars. So maybe I can leave the empty in here, so you can see empty in here. But if today I don't have the dot between them, this can't operate smoothly. Okay, so this is a reason we needed to use a dot to connect the variable and our string. Okay, and or maybe you can use the other way is like this. Num1 dollars. This is also works. You just use a double quotation. That is also work. You just put your variables in your double quotation. That is work. And maybe today you will ask me, Professor, can I use this single quotation? How do you think? Is this work? You will see this one, num1 dollars. Okay, that will not show it. So today you need to use the double quotation to use it. Okay, or you use dot to connect these two things. Okay, so you will know these two things. One is double quotation, and the other thing is single quotation. And we can also use statement control to validate that is true or not. For example, I defined a variable is true. So if that is true, and I will echo true, and if not, that will echo false. So that is just a if else. That is just a logical controls operation. So you can use this way, maybe. For example, that is a boolean. I will not use boolean because maybe that is a remain words. For any script language, they will remain some words for their language. For example, boolean is already remains for certain things, so I will not use boolean. Maybe I just use a shorten. It's bool. Okay, and I can say that is true. So I can use if bool. I put this is just if that is true, and that will echo true, and else I will echo false. Okay, so that is true. Okay, so now you can see there has so many things, but all the thing will to close. So maybe you can add the HTML in here. I can use a BR. This will enter to move to the next lines. So you can put the BRs in each string. Okay, so that is work. Okay, so I think maybe I will switch the monitor, and please try to use HTML and PHP, and try to use the command, what is single line command and what's the multiple line command, and how to define the functions, and how to define the variables, and how to use it. What's the difference between the double quotation and single quotation? Just practice it, okay?
说在这种状况的时候，可以有一个地方来跑。像我们安装是用那个 Visual Code，它东西不知道就跑不动。
因为
就是因为没有
PHP 它是一个需要编译的语言，对，所以你必须要有安装东西在你的伺服器上面，它才能去读懂你的 PHP。
然后那像如果我是用不同的这种地方开发，那我需要去打说到在这里，我需要去打，就是待会如果下载好就去打说我的伺服器是哪一台，还是它会自动把我送过去？
你就弄 memp， 然后直接 run 这样，你把这个存在那个 memp 的那个 htdocs 的资料夹里面就可以。
就是把这个档案存在那个 htdocs。
对。好，因为这只是编译器了，不，这只是编辑器了。
好，对。
This will run, but it's not run now. Okay. Okay, this is run now. And what's your... Oh, you use hello PHP. You know why? Because you use port AAA, but the default mode, that is 80. So if you not use the port AAA, it will not enter into your script. The port is just like a door, and we needed to use the specific door to see your words. Okay, so I think that is the reasons why you can run. So that is your test. Good. Oh, sorry. Okay, but not see hello. Let's see.可能有一些暂存，就是有些时候网页它会遇到一些暂存，就是说它有一些残留记忆，对，然后它就可能要删掉一些东西，它才能看得到这样。但是其实这个应该是没问题的这样。对。它对，或者是你就到那个无痕模式看这样。 就是说你不用后，你没有设定的话，你直接自动碰到它会进去你的后把手看。但是因为我们设有特殊的通道，所以它就会进去破888，你要指定破888才能进去看到你的作品。
因为 Mac 一载下来就是8888。
哦。
所以每台电脑预测的时候会是80。
对，一般的网页为了设立就是80这样。对。好，不会。对。不行吗？
我刚已经把Mac 关掉了。
sorry。应该没事吧？没事。
强壮很强壮。
找这么久。
要不要再看一次刚刚那个什么工作什么的？
应该还好，还是关掉好了。我们可以重开几次吗？
还要再开一次。
你刚刚有开机过一次。
我打好了。
等一下，我再
用一次吗？
对。这样就让不起来。你有上过其他资讯课吗？
没怎么。我是有载，但是
没有真的用。
哈？
没有真的用这样。
就是，我不太记得，我想一下。 之前那个算吗？之前我们上吗？
开始，我在想那个有没有去占用到，应该是没有才对。
还是把 MySQL 删掉一下。
你有买 SQL？你原本有买？哦，
怎么
有可能
那很占用是不是？
不是，
没有。
有可能有冲突。
真的吗？
我们先把它删掉好不好？你最近还会用到吗？
没有。那是我之前想的。嘿。
那我先把它删掉好了。
好。前面很占。
不是，会抢那个位置，对，然后就互相冲突，然后因为这个他有灌MySQL，那这个也有MySQL，然后他在读的时候他就不知道要读谁，对，然后就会，这个可以删的，这个等下再删好了，先删。
这些全部都要删掉。
对。你等下先把这个删掉，然后等下我们再让一次看看。
刚删的哪里？
就是把那个 MySQL server 到Workbench，对。
OK。
就确保他们都不在这样。好。
谢谢。
localhost 就知道了。
打在上面。
对。Okay, I will switch the monitor. Okay, and now I will talk about the comparisons operators. And actually we can use comparisons operator to run it. And actually you need to compare the data, which is larger. So maybe we can compare the number values or string values. Okay, so you can use all these things to compare that. Okay, maybe we can use the right angle bracket to understand the number one is bigger or not. So if that is bigger, so we will know that is bigger. Okay. And maybe you not only use the right angle bracket, you can add the other equal. Okay, and we can note the number one is not smaller than number two. So you can use any way to compare the two values. Okay, you can use any way to compare this, and you can use this way to understand that is equal or not. Okay, if that is not equal, and that will show this one. Okay, if that is equal, you need to use the two symbol like this. Okay, so this is comparison operator. Maybe in your loops and you will use the comparisons. You just want to make sure, oh, if the number one is smaller than a certain number, if the number one is smaller than 10, and I will keep running. And in every time that when I run one times, and I will add the numbers at 1 for this number. For example, at this loop at the beginning, maybe that is 1. So after the first run, that will become the 2, and the second one, that will become 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 9, 10. And if that is become 10, maybe the next number is larger than 10. So this loop will not keep going. Okay, so I will use the comparison operator at this time. So that is the reason why we needed to note what is comparison operator. Okay, maybe you can try later. And if maybe today you want to show that the number one, you just want to show the certain values, and you will use this sign, dollar signs. You use a slash and a dollar sign to show the number ones. For example, I can show you. Like maybe today I use 2 numbers, and I can use the number 1 is larger than number 2. Okay, and I can echo the number 1 is larger. Okay, I need to make sure number 1 is bigger. So I can see this number. But if I have a slash in here, this will be number 1 is larger. I just want to show the variable. I don't want to show the value. So you needed to use a slash in here. You use a slash with your dollar signs in here. This can help you show this variable. Okay? So you can also use the other sign to conduct our comparison. Okay. And the other thing is logical operator. What is logical operator? Logical operator is one is to validate these 2 things is true or not. If these 2 things is true, okay, and we will run this thing. If one of these 2 things is true, and we will run these things. Okay, so that's their different. Okay, one is both true. One is one of them is true. Okay, so these 2 things is our logical operator that can help us to understand. I think you can try to use these 2 things. Maybe you can take a photo with this, and you try to understand what this assigned and how to conduct the comparisons with the 2 values. Okay? And you can also try these 2 things. If today you have a 2 contradiction, maybe you want to make sure if the temperature is higher than 30 degrees, and you will think that is hot. And if today is raining, and maybe the weather is hot, you needed to define. You needed to set up a condition for your user, and the user will follow the condition to tell the users what's the clothes you needed to wear today. Okay, maybe you can use the logical operator to tell your user. Okay, so just try to use it. find out the localhost?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I will switch the monitor. Okay, you just need to know this. I think that is okay, and maybe you can practice after today's course. Okay, so we can use all the signs to compare the two values, and for example, the first one we can use a right angle bracket, and the second one is left angle bracket, and then that is easy, really easy if you understand what is math, and we can use the two equal signs, not just one equal sign. One equal sign is just you assign the value to a certain variable, but if today you want to validate which one is bigger, and is these two the same, and you needed to use the two equal signs, and you can use exclamations and equal signs to validate these two is unequal or not. Okay, if that is not equal, and that will show this sentence, and we can use right right angle bracket and the equal sign to understand that is bigger or not. Okay. I think that is not only bigger if we only use a right angle bracket and that is bigger, but if we use a right angle bracket and an equal sign, and that means it's not smaller than, because maybe that is also equal. Okay. And if we use a left angle bracket with equal sign and that is not bigger than. Okay, this is a comparisons operators. And the other thing is logical operator. Actually, if today you already learn what is introduction to computer science, and you will learn that what is logical operator. In logical operator, we have two logic. One is AND, the other is OR. If today you use AND, we need to use the two AND sign to validate the two logic is true in the same times or not. If they are true in the same times, and we will say both of them are true. If one of them are true, and we will use the OR sign. This is OR sign. OR signs will help us to understand one of them is true or not. Okay, if they are both true, or if they are both true, they will also use this. One of them is true. If they are both of them are false, this will not show this sentence. Okay, so that is their logic, two logic. And now we will enter into the conditional statement. What's conditional statement? Actually, that is just want to help us to perform the different actions based on different condition. What's a different condition? Actually, you already used the conditional statement earlier. Okay, we just want to make sure the age is not smaller than 18. So I will use the if statement. Okay, and I just use this round bracket, and I will put my condition in here. Here is my condition. If the age is not smaller than 18, please show this one. Okay, if that is smaller than 18, please just show this one. Okay, so that is just a conditional statement, and my condition is set up in here, set up in my round bracket. Okay, so that is the if-else condition. We just want to validate that is true or not. And if today there has so many statements, maybe you have 3 statements, you can use the first one is the first condition in your if. Okay, if number is not smaller than 5, and you will show this. And maybe you have the other condition, and you can set up the other condition is else if. If number is equal to 6, please show this. Or if that is not smaller than 5 and not equal to 6, please just show this one. Okay, so we can use this to understand today is a weekday or today is a weekend. We just want to make sure the user can understand today is weekday or today is Saturday is Sunday. So if today is weekday, that is not important. But today is a holiday, that is really important. So you need to tell me today is Saturday or Sunday. Okay, so we will use this condition to know if today the number is smaller than 5, and we will know today is weekday. If today is equal to 6, that is Saturday. So we don't need to make sure the number is equal to 7. We just know the other one is today is Sunday. Okay, so that is a conditional statement. So if today there has 2 logic, true or false, and you can just use if else. If today you have 3 logic, and you can use if, else if, and else. That can help you present your logic. If today there has so many things, more than 3, you need to use switch case. And you can put your variable in here. Okay, that is just like a get. Okay, a get. We can use a different key to enter into different get or different door. Okay, so I can put the our variable in here. So if the variable's value is 1, I can echo Monday. If case 2, I will echo Tuesday. If case 3, I will echo Wednesday. And I will add a break in here to show that, oh, the case 1 is end up in here. Okay, so please remember to add a break in the end for each case. Okay, that is really important. And maybe we can provide a form to the user, and the user can type anything, and I can save the user's data into a variable, and I can use switch case to present the different thing for your user. So that is the switch case. Okay, and I think if else is easy, but I think I wanna ask you to try to use switch case. Okay, so please try to use switch case. Okay, try to use switch case, and you can take a photo with switch case, and you need to remember that is a case 1, case 2, case 3, and that is break. Okay, just ask your program to do something based on your condition. Okay, so now it's your turn. Just practice it. You already set up the 8080 port, so you need to make sure here is 8080, and you can enter in. Yes. So because traditionally that will, if you are port 80, and that will, you just use local host and you can enter in. But if today you change the port, and we need to set up port in here. Okay.
So every time I have to write this.
Yes. Okay. And later we will have some tests for you. Because if you just practice that, it's too boring, right? Okay, especially today weather is good for sleep. And I already prepared some tests for you. 现在有人用，早期来讲是这样讲没错，只是后来 JavaScript 已经越来越多人拿来去写后端这样。对。I will switch the monitor. Okay. I think you already faced some problem, just maybe you change something in your code, but actually your web is also the same. Okay, will nothing change. I think that is not your problem because maybe there will have some temporal information from your original site. Okay, I think you can clear your history, or you can use private windows to open it, and I think that will be something. That will be something be changed. Okay, I think the major problem is map. Okay, that's stored to many temporal data. But why I needed to use map is because maybe in previous course I taught, I always teach you about the app serve. But yesterday I got problem with app serve, so I just try to use the other packages map. Okay, so if you have times, maybe you can download app serve. Okay, that will maybe easier to use, and I will not got any problems when I use app serve. Okay, and I think both of these two things is work. Okay, and maybe you can also search from your Google what if today there has so many temporal data and how to deal with these problems. Okay, and I will also search it. Okay, because now maybe today is my second day to use map, so I also needed to understand what's the logic from map. Okay, so I think now we just keep going about the loops, and loops is the other critical issues in our programming language. Maybe sometimes we want to use the same block of code to run over and over again. Maybe you just write down 5 lines of your code, but you want to make sure these 5-line codes can run and run, not just run one time. So we will use a loop to make sure that can execute the same block of code again and again. Maybe I want to make sure the same block of code to run 5 times, 10 times, or 50 times, 100 times. I just use loops to deal with that. Okay, that can help us to conduct the same code again and again. So first of all, I want to introduce the for loop. What's the for loop logic? The first thing we can see is our bracket in here. Okay, the round bracket. There has 3 things. The first thing is initial counter. What's the initial counter? Because I think that is just we run 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, and the initial counter is what's the beginning, your beginning. So you will set up a variable. Okay, we say, oh, this variable at the beginning they are 1, and when this variable needed to stop. Okay, so here is we give a number to tell the variable, oh, you needed to stop in 10. Okay, or we told them you can't bigger than 10. So I just use left angle bracket with the equal sign. Okay, so I will know my variable will not bigger than 10. Okay, and I will show the loop. My logic is I want to make sure the variable will add 1 for each circle. Okay, maybe when I've run the first time, that is 1, and the second time that will be 2, and that will be 3, B4, B5, B6. So I just use the plus plus in here. I use a 2 plus signs in here. That can make sure when we run one times, and that will add 1 for the next time. Okay, till the variable is bigger than 10, that will be stop. So maybe we just tried it and you can understand. That is a for loop. So I can use a for loop. I can use a variable I and equal to 1 and a variable I smaller than 10 and I plus plus. So I can echo I. So what happened? You can guess it. 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Okay. Any answer? If you think it's 1 to 10, please raise your hand. If you think it's 1 to 9, please raise your hand. Okay. So let's see. 1 to 9. Okay, that is 1 to 9. And now, you say we can combine the PHP with the HTML, right? So I can put an BR in here. And I can see this one. Okay. The 9 numbers in the different lines. Okay. So, okay. You can use a different logic. Maybe I can I use the different variable like ABC? What happened with this? Nothing happened. And can I use ABC to replace I? Is this work? Also 1 to 9. Okay. And if I use equal, I add an equal sign in here. What happened? 1 to 10. Can I use this? I think we got the problem. Okay. Oh no. That is, we got the problem. ABC equal ABC plus 2. Okay. So we can use this way to tell the logic. In each times how many things you want to add in this variable. Okay. So if today I just want to show that 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, I can use this way. So that is for logic. Okay. So I want to ask you, can you use in PHP loop to create 10 divisions? 10 divisions. And these 10 divisions, I need to see each division is just like a box. Maybe you can send me a blue box. Okay. How to create it? You can use a for loop to create it, to combine the PHP and the HTML in the same time. Okay. Try to do it. Not just create 10 division for me. You need to use loop to create the division.
docs，是你可以把这个 folder 放到那个 PHP Docs，但是那个 folder 我一般就是存英文名。
那我怎么把那个网页打开？
你的 map 打开了 ，map，然后 web start。
我现在已经有这个。
Okay, and this is localhost. You go to the links，这个连，过去，you choose localhost 888。
所以只要把这个给删掉。
对，然后这是它的 index，但是你现在要的是 888，然后跟刚刚的资料夹连在。就是YMUS。
我要打前面这些吗？
对，那不用，
不用。
就是我们的预设就是 HTTPOCS，对，所以你就打后面的注定的，对，然后
Who is finished? Who is finished? Use the for loop to create 10 division. If you are finished, please raise your hand. Division is just a div, div. You need to create 10 div. And you can set up their CSS. I can set up a class for this box, this 10 box. So I just run this 10 box 10 times. So I can finish the 10 box with my for loop. Okay. I will switch the monitor. Okay, and you haven't finished yet, and please look my code. And here I just use a for loop from the I1 to I10 and I plus plus, and I echo a division with the class name is box, and I use the variable I in here, so I will change the variable in each times, and I use a box class. I define a box class box in here to tell them I needed to set up the wide 50 pixel and height 50 pixel and with the background navy. Okay, so I will create the things like that. I just use a for loop to create 10 divisions, 10 box. And now the other thing is while loop. What is while loop? While loop is just similar with for, but actually their logic you just needed to tell them when you needed to end up. So in their round bracket, I set up the variable I is not bigger than 10 in here. Okay, but I also needed to define the variable I at the beginning. So maybe I can define the variable I in here, just before the while loops. Okay, and in while loop, I also needed to tell them the logic. Maybe I needed to use I plus plus in here. Okay, so each time they just add 1. So we can know that at the beginning, the variable I is 1. So when we enter into the while loop, they will ask the variable I, are you smaller than 10? If you are smaller than 10, I will echo you, okay, with the BR tag. And we needed to add 1. Okay, so at the beginning we are 1. We needed to add 1, so we will become the 2. So we will run again. Are you smaller than 10? Yes, I am smaller than 10. So echo again, and add 1 again, and keep run till this variable become 10. Okay, are you smaller, not bigger than 10? Yes, I am not bigger than 10. So I will echo 10 and with BR tag, and I will add 1. So I will become the 11. So I will run here. Are you not bigger than 10? No, I am bigger than 10. I am not smaller than 10. Because now I am 11. So I will end up in here. I will end up in here. I will not run again. So that is while loop. That is while loop. This is also similar with my for loop. Okay, you can see the for loop is just 3 things: the beginning, the end up in here, and the logic. So the beginning in here, and we end up in here, and there is our logic. Okay, our loop's logic. So that is while loop. These two things is really similar. Okay. And now is the exciting things for you. You can use a nested while loop or nested for loop. Okay, we can use 2 loop inside another while loop in PHP. Actually, we just run 2 loop in the same times. Okay, so the first thing is from I to I needed to smaller than 9. And I plus plus, and later is the other thing is j. J is equal to 1, and j is not bigger than 9, and j plus plus. So I use I to start j. Okay, so I will gather nested loop. Okay, so I will show you just like this. For I equal to 1, I smaller than, not bigger than 9. Okay, and later I can create the other thing is j equal to 1, and j not bigger than 9, and j plus plus. So I can echo j in here. Okay, and I can echo I in here. But I want to make sure here has enter into next line. So I will use a BR tag in here. I can use a BR tag in here. Okay, so let's see. The first time I will see I is 1, so I will echo I, and I will enter into next line, and I will see j is 1, j is 2, j is 3, j is 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and enter into next line. So I will become 2. Okay, so I will show you just like this. This is I, this is j. So I is in their circle 1, but j is run out already. Okay, and we will enter into when the I becomes the second, and the j will run from 1 to 9, and I is 3, and the j will from I to 9, 1 to 9. So that is nested loop. Okay, we will run the two loops in the same time, so you will understand the logic. And maybe I can use the other ways. I start j with BR. Okay, so you will see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. So you will know this logic, and actually this is just our multiplication. But I want to ask you to do your task. You needed to write a program in PHP to print multiplication table from 1 to 9. You needed to put all these things in a table. So what's the logic? When you needed to put the TR, when you needed to put the table, when you needed to put the TD, you needed to tell me. Okay, you needed to finish this task. Okay, and please just take a screenshot with your code and upload it to our Zuvio. Okay, that is today's first task. Okay, any question? Okay, just keep going. So just write down to your programs in PHP just like this table. Okay. And actually you can see maybe 1 stars 1, and we can see multiply 1, and we can see the first thing is you needed to print out the string. And here you needed to print out the value, okay, the result. Okay, this is totally different. So you needed to understand how to use the double protection to displace all these things. Okay, if you forget the table and you just follow this, you need to have table opening and a table closing. And for each line, and you need to set up the tr opening and the tr closing. And later is for each column or each column you need to set up for td opening and td closing. And you need to put all the variables in the td in your td columns. Okay. And you can finish all the things. You needed to understand when you needed to put the tr, when you needed to put the tr closing. Okay. For example, I use I and J, right? And then you can know maybe each line is just I. It's just I. And in each column, and then is J. Okay, it's our variable J. And in variable J, we needed to set up the TD again and again. Okay, so you needed to put your TD in the J, variable J loops. So I already told you all the things. 什么事？就上传了。啊？对啊对啊。